good evening, and welcome. In this video, we're going to be discussing Cobra Kai, what it means to me, its origins, and where I think it's going. So, I hope you enjoy it. Well, one of the reasons I decided to make this video, first of all, I know there's a lot of videos out there. Up until a few days ago, I would check YouTube every day and look up for news of Season 3, which is the upcoming season that the trailer has yet to be released, trying to scrape for any news, and most of the videos I noticed weren't very good. They had a lot of fluff. They weren't much substance, to put it that way. But first of all, if you're just coming here looking for news of the trailer, you come to the wrong place. So it's not why I'm here. But anyway, this is why I make an outline. I don't get too off track. See, mainly for my eyes only, but still, even then, I like it to look nice. Cobra Kai thoughts. So, I figured, yeah, to talk about the origins of, as many of you probably know, the Karate Kid came out in 1984. If you're here watching this video, you're probably a fan of the series. So, could have arranged this differently. But yeah, it came out in 1984, directed by John J. Avildsen. Sadly passed away a few years ago. I gotta make this quick. Main character is Daniel LaRusso, right? The enemy is Johnny Lawrence, the antagonist. Daniel has to fight him in a tournament, beats him. Then they made a sequel in which he has to fight to the death. So they really raised the stakes with that one, and a lot of people complain because in the third movie, they kind of went back to square one, and they revert to a tournament again, and he's more afraid there, I think, than he was to fight for his life. But I still think that film had substance, but that's a story for another time. I'm trying to stay on track here. Anyway, so I like all three films. Just so we're clear. Brief synopsis of Cobra Kai for uninformed audience. Okay, so if maybe you've heard of it, you're here. If you're a subscriber of mine, you like Star Wars, you may be curious. This show is a sequel to Karate Kid. If you haven't seen it, watch that first. I think it's actually free on Vudu right now. You just go to vudu.com, or if you have a phone, get the app, and I really like it. They got a lot of free to watch movies on there. They have like a rotation, but that one's on there pretty often because it's so popular. So there's a good chance you go on there, it's free, and I think it is now. So sometimes they even have 2 and 3 free, and there's also a movie called Next Karate Kid. But anyway, watch that first. I recommend watching all 3 Karate Kid films. Don't watch the 2010 version. Please, spare yourself. Then again, I haven't seen it, so I shouldn't say that about a movie I haven't seen. But anyway, whatever, it's not canon. So the Cobra Kai takes place 34 years later. Johnny Lawrence is down on his luck. In the original movie, they all live in this valley. I think it's San Fernando Valley, and the more wealthy side of it is called, I believe, Encino. Johnny lived there. Daniel lived the poorer side in Reseda, and now Daniel lives in Encino Hills, and it's really turned the tables. And Johnny reopens Cobra Kai because a young student, Miguel Diaz, really needs his help, and this kid really, you can tell, he's a bit, I guess the word is naive, and he's getting bullied. I guess Johnny has some pity for him, and he has the money because a rich stepdad, so he opens it up to give it a shot, and it ends up really taking off, basically. He gets other students, yada yada. We're not going to go into too much detail, but while Daniel eventually opens up Miyagi-Do, it doesn't have much in season 1. He just has like one student, pretty much. And that's even in the second half of season 1. But season 2 it really opens up. Oh, by the way, there's going to be a lot of spoilers here. 4 minutes in already. I'll try and be quick as I can. So, a bit of my review of the show so far. Explain my position on the Cobra Kai Miyagi-Do conflict. Alright, so, as you know, there's a conflict in season 2, primarily between Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do. It's kind of headed by Johnny and Daniel on either side, and it's their rivalry. But really, it's expanded to something beyond that. It's become more and ignited a lot of bitterness, I guess, between the students too. And everybody in the show seems to have like not a doppelganger, but a rival on the opposing side, either Cobra Kai or Miyagi-Do. Like there's Johnny and Daniel, there's Miguel and Robbie, there's Hawk and Dimitri, and a couple others even. Tori and Sam. They're the main ones. Explain my stance on the characters. So to give a basic rundown, I will give some of my predictions for season 3. That's probably what you're here for because you're very hyped for the trailer. You got a little bit of sad news about that later. I'm trying to get my order here to the way I'm doing this. But so I am for Team Miyagi-Do. And some shows they wouldn't want you to do that. They say, oh, it's the lesson here is not to learn not to take a side. But I like the writers, they embrace that, the rivalry, and they say don't choose a side. Like when season 2 was coming out, they were saying tweet hashtag Team Miyagi-Do or hashtag Team Cobra Kai, and I like that in competitive spirit. And I do see good on both sides. I'm not really that avid. I see in YouTube comments all the time very either toxic or dogmatic views. I guess it's dogmatic's like a bit of a step up from toxic, but people either for a dojo, they're really bashing a dojo, or a character in a dojo. Like sometimes, most people nowadays, I think, like Johnny more than Daniel. At least that's what I think. That's what I see in the comments. Evidence of more people being pro Cobra Kai now. Which, I mean, it's the name of the show, the name of the game. But I've always rooted for Daniel. Now, I'm not saying Daniel's perfect. He's got his issues, but it's like in almost every scenario or conflict you see in the show, every little encounter between them, most of them anyway, Daniel seems to me to be in the right or to be justified, whereas Johnny, I don't know. I definitely I like some of his traits. His political incorrectness is not only humorous, but I guess it's a bit of a breath of fresh air. Because I mean, whatever your political views, I mean, these very stressful times, and we don't need to be stuck up, right? I'm not the most educated person. I know more than some, but anyway, I just like that the show is. That's the thing. The show isn't really political. It's I don't know. It's free from that. It doesn't have much politics in it. So yeah, kind of rambling there, but I'd say I'm Team Miyagi-Do. I tend to like their characters better, and I think it's because of the philosophy. You follow a good philosophy, it'll make you a more likable person than a bad philosophy. Strike first, strike hard, no mercy. Are It's a catchy mantra. I admit, back in '84 it was catchy, and it's still catchy. But back in '84 it didn't work, and today it still doesn't work. Whereas karate is for defense only. That's what I was taught. I did take martial arts for a while. I don't know. I don't like mentioning it because it's been so long, and you could barely find a trace now if you ask me to break out some moves. I took Taekwondo, which is actually it's a Korean martial art. But anyway, I came actually pretty close to my black belt. My teacher, he had several, I think like a 5th degree black belt or whatever. But I had my red belt, which is 2 belts below. But see, it's so easy for me to get off track here. 8 minutes in, and I really got to step my pace. Who I most / least empathize with. So Daniel's I don't see my favorite character. I don't know, but definitely probably empathize with him the most. He seems like a really good teacher. You look especially throughout season 2 when he's training Robbie and Sam and the other Miyagi-Do students, and even season 1. I mean, he turned Robbie pretty much from a druggie into a confident young man who was honest, and he really turned him around, helped him find some balance in his life. And let's see, I like Robbie too. Miguel, I like almost everybody except for Kreese. Sam. The conflict between Tori and Sam, a lot of people think was instigated by Sam. I will probably concur. She may have initiated it, but Tori really took it to another level. And in the end, I found myself rooting for Sam in the final fight of season 2, Because she was trying to de-escalate it. I felt like she had some remorse, whereas Tori... Alright, it looks like there's something stuck on my phone, but it could just be a trick of the eyes or something. weird. Um, yeah, it was like maybe it's just glare, but she was too vicious. In that fight, she could have really hurt somebody. She started the whole fight because of her. The whole school got into a fight. It was ridiculous, all because she kissed Miguel. Now, should she have done that? No. But Sam was beating her fair and square. Like she beat her in the drinking competition the episode before. I know that was probably wrong. She was using her Miyagi-Do techniques of calming or whatever to not get drunk or something like that. I think it might have sharpened her senses, been able to keep her a little more sober. But she was, even if that helped, she was using it wrongly, applying it wrongly. I also like Dimitri, by the way. Dimitri's, I think a lot of us nerds can relate to him. If you see his behavior, he seems very weak and, I guess some would say a wimp. But I like it shows that it represents people like that on the show who are slow learners, maybe weak, hard for them to develop muscles, low self-esteem. I mean, not everybody learns as fast as Daniel did. He got all the moves. He started applying them in, karate after about 4 days. He started doing the whole fighting thing and really catching on. Dimitri, it seemed like he was there like maybe a week or more before he really started doing much. Who do I least empathize with? I have to say that mostly the people on Cobra Kai's side. Hawk can kind of get on my nerves. I understand he was bullied. I really felt bad in season 2, episode 5, when we saw his backstory. And early season 1, of course, how he was picked on. But that happens. You become the thing that you hate. Once you get a taste of power, if you were bullied, and then you become one. Old plot point. Alright, next, a look at Hayden Schlossberg's recent tweets. Oh yeah, this is gonna be good. Alright, so I'm recording this on Sunday night, and yesterday, Saturday, he had this, I was lucky to catch it, really lucky, because up till a few days ago, I was just looking on YouTube, and then I remembered, why don't I check Twitter, see what the cast and crew of Cobra Kai has to say. I don't know why that didn't occur to me earlier. Like, some wasn't clicking. But, anyway, he said, answering all Cobra Kai questions truthfully right here, hashtag spoiler Saturday. But he was pretty roundabout in some of his answers, very indirect. But anyway, I'll just kind of pick out the most relevant ones, and what may pertain to season 3. So I'm just gonna kind of skim and look for what I think is the most important. All right, this one that kind of catches my eye about it's about season 3. Somebody asked, Ryan Sperator, I'm sorry if I'm messing that up, Sperator. Will the episodes in season 3 be longer than season 2? And Hayden Schlossberg, the creator, I think I said, I would hate not to address, who he is. Yes, they are a little over 30 minutes this year. Most are over 30, some are closer to 40. So, most of season 2 and season 1, I think, was, I guess, an average of 30 minutes. So, they might be a little bit longer, though. So that's nice. And somebody here has kind of a long tweet, basically asking when the trailer is going to come out. And he said, patience. The season is awesome. It will come out in weeks. Well, what I want to know is...
Weeks? 1 week? 5 weeks? How many weeks is week?
Okay, so one person asked if Thomas Ian Griffith, I get those two mixed up, who played Terry Silver, has been contacted about making an appearance. And he responded, he said, trust that I love Terry Silver. And then Star Wars Theory, who I follow, he has a channel, Cobra Kai Theory. He's also a Cobra Kai fan. He's the biggest Star Wars YouTuber around. First, I didn't notice it was him. Then I checked the channel to see if it was really his. And I saw it. It's him, all right. He responded. He said, God, I hope so. So, I guess a lot of people are excited to see Terry Silver. And then somebody else said, where's Terry Silver from Karate Kid 3 been the past 3 years? He said he has many residences all over the world, but spends a lot of time in South America. So, I don't know, I think he'll probably make a return. Probably needs some work, right? And Fred, I missed this. Freddy, the one that Daniel befriended at the beginning of the first movie, apparently owned the freezer in season 2, episode 7, that Daniel was training his students in. I must have missed that. Oh, and this is the I think I mentioned this earlier. Will the trailer be released within the next month? I need something to get me through the lockdown. He said no trailer in April, but it will be here before you know it. So that's sad. That means it's going to be at least like what 25 more days over 3 weeks. So it's going to be a cruel spring leaving me here on my own. Is Miguel reflective of what Daniel could have been if he joined Cobra Kai? He said, yep. So that's neat. But yeah, this is just supposed to be about season 3. So, oh, somebody put in a question that I tried to send in, but I put it on the wrong tweet. I put it on the tweet where he was letting us know that he was going to be answering questions within the next hour. Then he made another tweet the next hour, which we were supposed to respond to. I responded to like the warning or the heads up tweet. So anyway, I asked, is Johnny in Okinawa? He said yes. I don't know, his answers, they can be, sometimes when he answers so directly, because I'm used to him answering roundabout, I get suspicious of the directness. Is it some mind game? Or yes, does he mean Johnny Lawrence or John Kreese? Well, no. He said Kreese wouldn't go there because Kreese hates Okinawans, he said. So that's good to know, I guess. Somebody asked if Chosen is returning. He said no. But anyway, I'm sorry. The question I was trying to ask was, is there going to be a major death next season? Which I hope it's not Miguel. He's made several jabs at it, kind of jokes, I guess, about... Someone asked if Miguel will join Miyagi-Do. He said there's no dojos in heaven. I'm like, don't talk like that, man. I'm hoping Miguel will get better. I'll mention that more in my predictions. But anyway, somebody asked it, I think. And, oh, 1 second. Well, this is neat. Somebody said, if Johnny and Daniel teamed up against Kreese, who would win? He said, depends if Terry Silver showed up. Yeah, I thought of that, Daniel and Johnny versus Kreese and Silver. I think Daniel could take Silver and Kreese and Johnny could fight. Heavy and light, simple yet complex. Miguel and Sam drink soda in Cobra Kai Season 3. Maybe a visit to the hospital? Will Miguel and Tori stay together or nah? Nah. And this one I was really curious about. Somebody said, where did Robbie go after the fight? Because I'm really invested in... I like Robbie a lot. I think he gets a bit too much hate. Even before he kicked Miguel over the ledge, which I just, he was mad. He was definitely wrong there. That was a terrible thing to do after being shown such mercy. But remember, Miguel did to him in the tournament, was very unsportsmanlike, kind of really bitter towards him the whole fight. Of course, he didn't do anything, I guess, as damaging to Robbie as what Robbie did to him at the end of Season 2. But anyway, where'd he go after the fight? So Hayden said, somewhere between Vegas and Okinawa. The Okinawa thing could be to throw us off, because maybe he went to Vegas just to get away, party, escape the authorities. Or the Vegas thing to be to throw us off, and he does go with Daniel to Okinawa. But Daniel said, I can't believe Robbie would do that. So I don't know if he'll take him back under his wing. He did kind of spurn him, so he might be partially responsible. But remember what he did at the beginning of episode 10? He said, you want to end up like him? That's up to you. All right, Sam. So, who knows? All right, finally. Because he'd been teasing this Miguel dying thing. Somebody said, will Miguel go back to Cobra Kai? He said yes. Somebody said, will Chad McQueen and Thomas Ian Griffith return for Season 3? He said no and no. Chad McQueen played the really cruel Cobra Kai member Dutch in the original film, and, Thomas Ian Griffith, as I said, played Terry Silver, so that's disappointing. Maybe he won't be, I guess he won't be returning for Season 3. Maybe Season 4, because there are rumors that they were filmed the same time, and Season 3 will end with a cliffhanger, just like Season 1 and 2 did. Maybe it could be teased. Don't know. Yeah, here it is. The one I'd asked, Night Monkey asked, is there a chance you're going to kill off one of the central characters in the show? He said, more than a chance. So that's kind of troubling. I saw some video the other day titled that Daniel might die in Season 3, which, that'd be it's a scary prospect. One of the heads of the dojos, that would really mess up the balance, right? Somebody asked who the most powerful character was, or who the most powerful character was. He said Mr. Miyagi. They said I should have specified living. So, and this is kind of a relief to me. Somebody asked, "Will Robbie join Cobra Kai?" He said no. So sorry, John Kreese. I know you. He was anxious to see Johnny be training with his son, but I don't know. I think anyway. That's about all we have here. There's more. There's more to talk about. I'll cut it here, but um, time to take the rest of what I have to say over to the final um, section, which is my hopes and expectations for season 3. All right, so the first one I have on here, there's only a couple points on here, but I have a little bit more I want to say. Where will Robbie go? We already kind of covered that. I'm interested to see where he'll go. Some people said he might try and go back to the gang he was in, but somebody else responded, said no, they would kill him probably, and I tend to agree. They didn't like him after he turned on him. What will happen to Daniel in Okinawa? So Sato is probably dead by this point. Yeah, it's a little ridiculous to say he'd still be alive. Chosen, he said that he won't be returning. So, the only other person, of course, how could I have overlooked, is the Kumiko. That would be interesting. Oh, another character. By the way, I should have mentioned this in the characters I most and least empathize with. I don't really like Daniel's wife. I understand she's trying to keep him accountable and hold him to his obligations. You know, man, first and foremost, I guess, supposed to provide for his family. But he was doing that. They weren't starving. They weren't about to go on the street. If they had to go without selling as many cars for a little, I think, you know, if his heart calls him to go and teach karate, what's the problem with that? He was trying to get these students, the ones who didn't want to learn to be bullies at, you know, kind of an aggressive type dojo, to come somewhere else, to Miyagi-Do. And, you know, Robbie, Dimitri, Sam, and all the others. It seemed almost like she just didn't care about them. That might not have been the case. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know, even when he brought them to work, she just was like child labor. Like, nothing could appease her. Daniel tried to compromise, but he's not going to leave him to the wolves. And after, probably because of her influence, is why he kind of snapped at Robbie at the beginning of episode 10. He was worried his daughter was out all night, and he kind of snapped at him. And him and Johnny, they got their rematch, by the way. That was epic. But anyway, so, where will Robbie go? Oh, wait, I'm sorry, no, wrong question. What happened to Daniel in Okinawa? That's right. So he'll probably see Kumiko. He might, and my point was, he might be attracted to her again, because, you know, she would listen to him, she would remember their adventures, she loved his karate. Video limit almost reached, it's gonna stop soon. Might need to be broken into 2 parts, I guess. Anyway, so she would appreciate his karate, and, whereas his wife wouldn't. I don't know if he'll take his family there, like Sam, or if it'll just be him, but maybe he'll find his balance again. I kind of hope he'll take Robbie. Will an episode end? Oh, with this was just a little thought I had. The first 2 episode titles have been revealed. I think Aftermath and Little Miss Perfect, and I think one of like probably the first couple of episodes, either 1 or 2, maybe 3, will, and it's just a small prediction with close up of Miguel in the bed, you know, his eyes closed, unconscious, and then his eyes will open, and that'll be the end. That just seems like a really good ending for an episode, you know? Oh, and it's not my hopes and expectations for season 3, but this one's a fear. When/if Miguel heals, will he turn on Johnny or anyone else? So, you know, sometimes you can paint yourself into a hole, you're painting a room, and you block yourself off, and you're kind of trapped. Well, I think that can happen with writing too. You write yourself into a scenario where the characters aren't left with much